So what I've been doing since I completed the distant landscape is with rather rougher, more jagged up and down brush strokes. I'm now applying different colours, dark purples and magenta hinted purples, to add a little more energy and a little more jaggedness and a little more raggedness to the mid-ground trees and bushes. So it's not just about creating a sense of depth. For me, it's not just about cooler and warmer colours, it's also about the brush marks you use and how you use the brush. So light and gentle dry brush off in the far distance, but more energetic, scrubby, scumbling marks for the midground. So here I'm just suggesting shadows and branches and things. I'm not taking too much care. I want an element of randomness in this, and that random element will hopefully contrast quite well with the more precise rendering and modelling that I'll do on the sheep themselves later on. So as you can see, this particular video isn't a real-time video. The actual painting probably took me about 2 hours or just over, so I thought it was better in this case to do a half-hour video and kind of give you the key bullet points, and hopefully you can see you know, what's gone on. If people really want to see the real-time version, then let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to upload it. I probably wouldn't do a commentary for that full 2 hours though, but if people really want to see it, then let me know and I will do it. Okay, so having done some loose modelling on the sheep, I've started to lose some of my initial drawing, and the initial drawing I don't take as being completely accurate. I don't assume that's the case. I'm always looking to correct. So I felt the need at this stage to just refine things a little further. So I'm going in now with a slightly narrower flat brush. I guess this one's about 1/4 of an inch, 6mm wide. And I'm just doing a little more drawing with a deeper purple, just to redefine the outlines of the animals and make sure they don't get lost in the mix. It's nice to be loose when I paint, but I don't want to lose structure. I don't want to lose... I want the animal to look right and have the anatomy to look right and feel like this thing could walk and move and stand correctly. So it's a delicate balance sometimes between looseness and precise definition. But what I'll do is, as I move on in the painting, some of these newer marks will get lost, at least in part, and we'll sort of oscillate between looseness and definition. So I had that colour on the brush, and I thought, well, I may as well use that and continue that into the foreground here for some of the shadows in the bushes that the two sheep are grazing on. And you can see also that by emphasising the outlines once again, that's brought the sheep forward. So already, hopefully you agree, those distant hills are looking a lot further away than the sheep are in the foreground. So we're going to have much stronger light, stronger, darker shadows on the sheep. And we're going to leave that distant sky and distant hills pretty much as they are, to be honest. So here's a clip of what I was talking about. This is the scene once again. Just wanted to give you a look at, you know, so you can see what I'm referring to the whole time I'm painting. And as you know, if you've seen any of my videos before, I don't aim to capture the scene exactly. It's very much my version of it. I want to be inspired by the scene, and I definitely want there to be some recognisable elements, but I want this to be my own thing. Now, having added some bluey shadows to this central sheep, I'm now coming in with the more precise 6mm wide synthetic brush and adding some highlight colours there. And now I've moved on to the right-hand sheep and coming back in with the yellow ochre a little bit. So the way I tend to work when I'm deciding on the colours for animals is I'll try to kind of let go quite a lot early on and just sort of see what happens. And then I'll probably pull it back towards being a little more realistic and then push it away from being realistic again and again. So just like the looseness and the precision of line we were talking about, there's this constant oscillation back and forth between colour as well. So I'm trying to always experiment between getting something which is effective and fairly realistic, but also trying to present something in a slightly different way to usual without pushing it, you know, too far, hopefully. So I'm coming in again now with my bluish shadows for the right-hand sheep. And the smaller brush, you know, I still try to be loose with it and not be too fiddly. But obviously the smaller brush you have, then you can be a little more precise than if you have a larger brush. Now the paint's more or less run out on the brush here, but I'm taking that opportunity to introduce some dry brush marks on the sheep to introduce a little bit of texture. Obviously sheep are covered in wool, so there's a myriad of different textures and spindly bits and intertangled things going on. So it just helps to suggest some of those. So just like with looseness and precision, realistic and unrealistic colour, I also oscillate back and forth between drawing and painting. So, you know, I will do some drawing at almost any stage in the painting if I feel it's going to help the image, basically. And sometimes that help is just to help me see where I'm going to go with the painting that I do next by putting in some guidelines, as it were. And other times I just leave the drawing exposed. But the whole idea is that we're building up the reality we're creating in layers. That's the idea, basically. So gradual incremental changes towards something that we're happy with. So having given sort of an extra layer of treatment to the middle and right hand sheep, I've now moved on to what is perhaps the main sheep of the picture, and I'm adding some sort of bluey purpley shadows onto the leg here. And, you know, it's sometimes difficult to see how well the colours I choose are going to work early on. So, and they often don't come to sort of full fruition until I overlay them with perhaps a dry brush coating of a lighter colour, so that some of those brighter colours show through the top layers. And other times, of course, it just doesn't work, and I decide to go in a completely, you know, different direction. But I always enjoy the sort of the mild adventure of trying something a little bit out of the ordinary. So I'm adding some reddish brown here now. So I would probably have mixed that up with cadmium red, a little bit of cadmium red, some cadmium yellow, and some of the ultramarine blue that I used earlier, and possibly a touch of titanium white there. So just continuing that, so you can see that the shadows on this main sheet now have got several colours in them. They've got the burnt umber I used right at the beginning. They've got the magenta watercolour marker hidden in there, but still peeking through in a few select areas. They've got the purpley blue shadow that I put down just a moment ago, and then they've got this reddish brown shadow as well. So I'm continuing that theme across the whole animal.